wanted to show you something that we just got. I say we, me and my son Owen. His grandfather, my father-in-law, just gave this to us. It's needed a little bit of work. It still needs quite a bit of work. It's a K5 Blazer, 1975. And you may recognize it. It was in a pretty famous movie. Not this particular one, but the same type of truck. You remember what movie it was in, bud?
It was in the first Jaws movie. The
first Jaws, that's right. The sheriff drove it around. This is the last year they made a completely convertible Blazer. Going forward, I think the Broncos too, they all have a roof over the front. But we just drove it down to the river and we're going to change the oil in it today. Give you a little walk around of it. Careful, it's pretty muddy.
Oh, yeah, my shoe just sunk right into the mud and I'm wearing Crocs.
Why didn't you put your boots on? Oh. Oh.
I'm wearing white socks too.
Oh, that wasn't a good move. His grandfather actually did all the painting himself. You know, the camo and then this this face on here. What is that? That's off like an old bomber or something. Those World War I or World War II planes, I believe. All right, so we're back at the house. Get ready to change this oil. I'm interested to see just how dirty it is. Hopefully it doesn't come out chunky or anything like that. You can see there's the oil pan there. It's a little wet. Clean that up a little bit before we... Beautiful. It's not terribly tight. I'm actually reaching in through the wheel well. That's what's nice about, you know, older stuff and lifted trucks. You know, it's running pretty smooth. I mean, it's black, of course, but at least I don't see any big globs coming out with it. We'll let that drain and then we'll see if the filter comes off without too much of a fight. All right, while that's still dripping, I'm gonna give that filter a shot. You can see it right there. Hopefully we don't make too much of a mess. There's just enough room for me to sneak between this exhaust and the frame and see what... Oh, that's actually not bad at all. Look at that. Oh, this is great. Oh, that's not what I was expecting. I've dealt with oil filters that sat for too long and ended up having to stab a screwdriver through them and do all types of funky stuff to get them off. But that was not the case for that guy, somehow. So I just went with the oil and filter that was on sale here, which was the STP, and then this Castro. It was just under 30 bucks. Alright, so this engine actually doesn't have an oil fill. I think a lot of engines were like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this PVC valve, I think it is, or breather, and I'm just going to fill it up right from there. I'll give you guys a look at the brake lines. You can see we replaced both of the lines off of the master cylinder here. They go down to a diverter. I'll show you from underneath. I'm not 100% sure of what this piece underneath is called. You see it right there. That's basically like the splitter. There's two inputs, which I think is for the front and the rear brakes. And then it splits off. You have your two fronts and then your one rear. You can see here's one of the fronts. We replaced the hard line and then this the rubber hose, and then we put a new caliper, new brake pads, I left the rotor here in the front because it was actually not bad. It definitely wasn't original by any means. And then the rear, there's the rear line up here. It was actually a tad too long, so we put a little bit of a funky bend in it. I just got a couple zip ties holding it for now. And then it comes to this T and then over to each brake drum. And then in here we put new drums, new wheel cylinders, and new pads and all that. Everything in here is new in the back. And I was going to make videos about that, and again, it's one of those things, I just don't know how much interest there is on my channel for stuff like this. But I guess I'm just gonna keep posting a mix of things. I mean, because I do a lot of different stuff all the time, whether it just be, you know, work related or me just tinkering around with stuff in the driveway. I mean, I'm no Andrew Camarada by any means, but you know, maybe an amateur version of Andrew we'll go with. So, but yeah, I didn't record any of that, and I probably should have in hindsight. You know, doing these back here, this was a lot of work. The old wheel cylinder, both of these bolts were stripped, and I used a Dremel because if you could tell, this is kind of hard to get in here. You can't get in here with anything big. And I used a Dremel with a real small grinding wheel, and I just ground off the head of each bolt. So the bolts that they used, thankfully, were a little smaller than this. But I ground each one off, and that's how I got the old wheel cylinders out of there. But yeah, so far it's good. And we've been, get out of here. We've been driving it around, mainly me and my son, for, I don't know, about a month now. And I wanted to make sure, you know, we both enjoyed it and everything else. I mean, why wouldn't we? It's a super cool truck. I wanted to make sure we both enjoyed it before I go dumping a bunch of money into it. But I have plans. We're going to redo the body. I'm going to probably try to, wherever I take it, have them keep the paint job. I'll do some stuff myself. Like, I might tackle some of this interior stuff myself. You see, there's just some seat covers on here now. This is all tore up. But I'm thinking I would rip out all the carpet, you know, get new seats in the front and the back, obviously. And the bottom, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably just paint it and maybe do like a rhino liner in there so it has like some grip. It's not super slippery. And then get all the seats vinyl. And then my plan is I'm gonna end up putting like a little carport right in this area. And then I'm just never gonna put the top on it. It has a top. It's in the trailer right now. You see all these buttons. It's a real fiasco to put on. There's like crossbars and stuff, and it's just because it's old. He told me the top was like 20 years old, so it's the material's super tight, and it's a pain to get on and off. So I've been taking it on and off. You know, I just watch the weather. Like right now, I took the top off yesterday, and there's no rain in the forecast, knock on wood, for like the next 10 days. So that way I could just leave it off, and then when I see rain coming, you know, I'll put it back on. But anyways, with the carport, then I'm just never going to have the top on it. It'll just park it under carport and it'll be fine. So, but let me know what you guys think if you're interested in seeing this kind of stuff. And also, we're starting an excavation job tomorrow for a geothermal dig. A big loop field we'll be putting in. It's like 120 feet long by 16 feet wide and like 6 or 7 feet deep. I gotta check. It's almost like 500 yards of dirt. So we're going to be moving a lot of dirt. Should be interesting. I'll probably make it a two-part video, one for the excavation, and then one I'll go make kind of a detailed video of the loop field installation. But as usual, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.